All right, we're back. BarstoolBuddhas. I'm Jai.
Rip.
And so we've got some accompaniment this morning.
We do.
The neighbor's dog,
Kevin,
is having a fit. His name is Kevin. So, I mean.
Shut the hell up, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, just shut up. Just shut up, Kevin. So, you know what? He's actually more pleasant than some of the people we'll be talking about today.
True.
And the noise he makes is almost tolerable compared.
Yep.
So,
and we stepped in it recently.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the election special, guys. So, vote early, vote often. Limited offer to the blue states, Democrats only. You can't do that down here. I meant to have my little I've already voted sticker on. I did vote. And it was a normal, weird, strange thing in the polling people. You
kind of got harassed, didn't you?
Well, I didn't know if I was actually in a mortuary or a Volvo polling place. But, God bless them. They're old. They got nothing to do. And they do volunteer. They are patriotic. They do that. We'll cover that in a minute. But I want to talk about Joe Biden. We call him enema number one last week.
Enema.
Some people got upset because we didn't show enough empathy and sympathy, because I actually said I don't have any more for him. And let me clarify that. He's a human being. He deserves a certain amount of respect and empathy and compassion for what he's going through. But he's going to drag our ass through something we don't want to go to. And like I told you, I don't want no nuclear war.
Nope.
Nobody wants to see deep fried Jai.
No deep fried Jai.
No, I don't want to do that. So, I want to clarify that. I do have a certain amount of empathy, respect, and compassion for a guy that's that old.
He's an elderly man and everything, but he's a statesman, and they've put him in a position of power. He's got his finger on the nuclear button.
Well, again, to those people who are offended, I'm sure I'm going to offend you again, so just stay tuned.
Hey.
Right? Okay.
We're doing our job.
So as far as Joe Biden goes on the politician's side, the more he tries to talk, the things that he does get out of his mouth sounds just like Obama. This is Obama 2.0.
There's only one person that makes Joe Biden look good.
Who's that?
Fetterman.
Oh, yeah, Fetterman. Yeah, so we'll talk about him, and we'll get a lot of dings about that one.
Oh, boy.
But, we want to make sure that people know we just don't pick on one side or the other. We have the feeling that a lot of the people in Washington have been there too long. Doesn't matter the party affiliation. Some of that's getting all screwed up. Liz Cheney is now stumping for Democrats. We've got Tulsi Gabbard stumping for Republicans. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just, that's a good thing, because people are looking at the issues and they're saying, wait a minute, I don't want to belong to the club if the club's not going to serve me and the needs of this country. So I see this as a good trend.
Right.
Get out of the box. Yep. Go vote for what is in your heart, your pocketbook, whatever you need. Mm-hmm. But we got a guy up there, Mitch McConnell. Now, he's a Republican, and he's old school. He's a Dixiecrat kind of guy.
Kind of.
Yeah, we've got a Republican name, but
yeah.
And one might argue that he's done a lot of good things for this country, and I'm probably sure you could dig some up.
Done a lot for Kentucky.
But allegedly he was just found guilty of faking his own life for decades. He's been proudly inauthentic since 1958. And we live in Tennessee, so we're real close to this guy. We're hoping he's not communicable. We don't need him down here. I mean, he's the most Democratic Republican I've ever seen in my life. So, anyway, so then we got Mr. Fetterman up in Pennsylvania.
Just had a wonderful debate.
Well, again, I want to say, the guy, the thing that came back from the left was, isn't he brave? Doesn't he have humility? Yes, he does. And he is for doing what he's doing. But you know what? I remember a time when we had the best and the brightest to choose from for our leaders. Now, Mr. Fetterman is what Mr. Fetterman is, and God bless him for trying. But you know what? I don't want that guy as one of the 100 people in the Senate. And the Senate is where the power is.
It is truly where the power is.
And you know what? And Dr. Oz, you'll put them both in a bag and throw them in the river. I'm not going to miss either one of them. I'm sorry. That's not a threat.
It's just a phrase.
Lock them in a closet till Armageddon will be fine. So, but, I feel sorry for the guy. And, you can see that he's really trying hard. But with his history, I have no reason to believe that he's in any kind of shape if he hadn't had a stroke. No. Even if he hadn't had the situation. That guy does not belong, in my opinion, in the United States Senate.
No.
And neither does his opponent. And neither do several other people running. Where have all the good guys gone, the good girls gone? Whatever you are, whatever the gender nomenclature is for this.
Oh, God.
Where are you at? Why are you hiding out? Did you ever read Atlas Shrugged?
Yes.
Well, I think this may be chapter 3. The people that can do, would do, could do, they're not doing. They're sitting this and out.
There's a lot of people on the sidelines.
It's a problem. So, and then again, we can roll on down to Nancy Pelosi. I wrote this before her husband got attacked, and I want to say we're really sorry that the man gets attacked in his house with
that's terrible. It's just
with a hammer. You'd think you'd be used to it by now, but with living with her, but she's got the gavel and all.
Yeah.
But somebody breaks in and tries to kill you with a hammer, beats you with a hammer. That's just the state of affairs is getting completely out of hand. But then again, what we were going to say about Nancy, I think she's 82. Yeah. God bless her. She's gone by the cell date several times. But
manager special.
She's still aggressively straddling the House of Representatives.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. She claims stiff resolve and firm support for most of the members of the House of Representatives. But I think some of that support's dwindling. I think if this election goes really badly, they're going to use an excuse to get rid of her.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a wholesale wiping of the slate on the left side.
Well, I think we need to clean the whole damn mess up on either side.
Yeah.
And then we got Kamala Harris. Did you see her on TV in front of the yellow school bus? I love a yellow school bus. We all love it. The wheels on the bus.
I was waiting for that to start.
Wheels on the bus go round and around. Except in San Francisco, it's a trolley car. But you know what? She's single-handedly proving scientific basis for the proposition that only 10% of the human brain is used.
Yes.
And you can still walk around doing that. So when she opens her mouth, it's like, what did she say? Now, you may not like what you and I say.
Sure.
That may be stupid, and we may have some countrified look at the world.
Yeah.
But you could probably pick out where we're right or wrong or not doing something proper.
No clue what she's talking about.
What the hell did she say? So I'm counting on the Democrats, which is a really, really bad place to be, that they're going to get rid of old Joe after the election when it goes bad. But they're going to have to get rid of her to do something to put somebody in there. And I think they'll probably do that to arrange for the general election. They got to have a viable candidate.
Right.
And she would just leave. She's going nowhere. So anyway, enough of that. And then we got Donald Trump. Now, we got to be careful with Donald Trump. He's got a lot of support, but I see him as a spoiler. I think that he's the road into the White House in 2024 for the Democrats because he's so divisive at this point.
That's the problem.
People are tired of being on one side or the other and throwing rocks. People are starting to figure like we've got to have some place where the whole damn thing runs.
You got to have the moderates in the middle to get anything won.
And
he turns a lot of people off.
I like the values that he proposes. The methodology is not so great.
Yeah.
And, saying what he says and doing what he does, it's entertains a certain base. And I smile at it where the left, they're having cramps and getting in medication and whatever they do for that. But I think he's a problem.
Yeah.
He is a problem, so that's a big deal. So, the election, like I said, I've already voted and I won't tell you how I voted. You can probably guess. But I just felt like it was time to make a strong stand for one side to balance it. Now, I'm no fan of every Republican I've ever seen. Like I said, we just mentioned Mitch McConnell.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of them that I've never cared for.
Professional politicians are the problem for everyone.
The guy out in Utah, what is that guy's name? Mitt Romney? He is in Utah, isn't he?
Yeah,
Mitt Romney. He's a Republican, but you know what? No. Anyway, so stop making it about your team.
Yeah.
Start making it about the whole game.
Yes.
Because the game's going to blow up. They're going to take the stadium away. It doesn't matter.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. So pay a little attention to what's really going on. And so to cover that, we were going to talk about a thing I was seeing, and people are talking about China's going to go into a digital economy, digital currency. India's moving real quick.
Central bank digital currency.
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
It's the end of freedoms.
Yeah, they can track everything you're doing. It's like that one credit card company. If you go out and buy ammo or a gun, it shows up, and the next thing you know, they're canceling your account. I've heard that some people get their bank accounts canceled if they're on Twitter or whatever and prove to be too conservative, too right wing. Really? Yeah, they get bounced. Yeah, and look what happened to Kanye West. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now he's mouthing off in ways that are, I'm just going to say, pretty demented sometimes.
It's polite.
But they just wiped him out this week. They took all his accounts. He lost $1 billion. Now, nobody likes what he's saying. And if you're sponsoring him, you've got to be careful because you're running a business. But you know what? We need to start putting some value propositions and weighing who these people are who's saying this. Are they actually of consequence? Do you need to cancel everybody?
How big an influencer are they?
Well, he influences some people, but I'm guarantee you the people he's influenced, they're probably sitting home on election day on their Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah. Smoked up and eating Cheetos, man.
Yeah, allegedly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Supposedly, maybe. But I wanted to really, the story I told you about a couple of years ago, I went through the Newark airport, scenic spot of Garden State, and
Garden State.
Yeah, that's what they call it. So I'm in this big terminal. They have a big terminal over there, and it has a lot of restaurants. It was looking pretty good. Yeah. Food court, not bad. And I was on my way to India, and I was hungry, getting ready to get on a 16-hour flight or whatever it was. So I'm thinking, plain food is not great. Okay. It's not even plain. It's not that. It doesn't get there unless you're in first class, of course. So anyway, I decided I'd go get something. And I sat down, and they have these little iPads. And you got to order off the iPad, and you have to pay with a credit card. Well, I've always been very careful with my credit card, where I use my credit card. I'm in another state. I'm in an airport. Where do you think fraud's going to happen? So I don't want to do that. I want to pay cash, and they won't let me pay cash.
Wouldn't let you pay cash?
No cash. This is the digital society coming true. So I go and I complain. Well, I've got 2 hours till my plane takes off, so I got a lot of complaining time. So I actually called for the general manager of that area, and I had a talk with him. He was a nice person. But they said to me, I said, well, she said, you don't understand. It was a woman, actually. She said, you don't understand why we're doing this. I said, well, that's great, because that's what the question's about.
Exactly.
I said, last time I checked, this was legal tender for all debts and services in the United States, and basically that's what we live by. She said, well, we're trying to protect our employees.
Protect the employees?
I said, from what? From being held up, theft. I said, you have that problem in the airport?
In an airport.
You got 75 policemen I can see down this hallway in TSA. And you got
probably a militia in the background.
You got a hotline to the Pentagon if one of the planes go wonky. I said, I figured this out. Your employees are stealing you blind. You don't want them taking your cash. And I said, I'm not eating here. I said, I just don't need to eat here. This is ridiculous. It's one thing, if you'd have told me something, well, this is why we're doing it, and this is just a plan, we have no way of taking it, I would have probably eaten. But when you lie to me that you're protecting your employees.
Didn't it start with they didn't have menus?
They didn't have menus. Well, they had menus on the iPad.
Right. Okay.
So I went to another restaurant this week, here locally. And I don't want to piss them off because I really liked the restaurant, and it was worth the hassle. But they got this little card, and it's supposed to be a QR thing on the thing. We saw a lot of that during COVID, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, my phone won't do this, and I've got all the apps and everything I need to have, but it wouldn't do it.
Right.
So we were down in the bar downstairs, and the guy brings these little 7-inch things. Says, "This is what we got." He showed us to us. So then we go up with their dinner, and the lady comes. She says, well, you need to do this and you need to read our menu. I said, could we just get a menu? This doesn't work. Well, we don't have menus. We're having our menus changed. And I'll go see, but I don't think we have an extra iPod for you to look at up here. Well, you know how I am.
Do you want my money or not?
You know how I am. I'm always compassionate to a fault. And it's like, beat me, kick me, treat me bad. I'm only the customer.
Yeah.
So because I was with my wife and it was a special occasion, I didn't do my normal thing. I didn't get acerbic and nasty all at once. I kind of slid into it. I said, so you're telling me as a customer, if I walk in here, so say I didn't bring a phone. Say I wanted a night away from the device.
Leave your phone at home.
My wife didn't have her phone. I had my phone. But what if we left it in the car? Are you telling me you're not going to serve me because you won't provide me with a menu of the services and food that you offer? well, I can see where that would happen. And I said, could you try to find something? So I'm messing with my phone, and I finally get it to work. But it's like on this, and it's a 20-page menu. And if you've ever been to dinner with my wife,
oh no,
more than one choice is an extra 15 minutes. Do I want this? Do I want that? Do I want it made like this? What am I going to drink with that? Which is all reasonable. Somebody's going in for a special dinner. They want to really take their time. But, that's one of my shortfalls. I don't do that well. I don't shop. I buy. That's what I want. Put it in the bag. Shut up. Let me out the door. Don't talk about it. I don't need a commercial. So, but those are the kind of things that are coming. This technology, and you put it in line with what happened in COVID, where you couldn't touch things, you didn't want to communicate germs and all that stuff. Yeah. Somebody found a way to make that work. And then they thought, how do we make it work for us? We won't have to print menus. We won't have to handle cash. We won't have to go to the bank. Which, if I'm on their side of the table, looks like a real good deal. Mm-hmm. But you know what? It signals the death of customer service.
Yeah, customer service. Who knows what that is anymore?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. My company does. And I can't tell you the name of my company on here because they would get kind of upset, But the point is, they're one of the premier customer service companies I know about. And I just happen to work for them. So I do. That's the problem. Yeah. I know what customer service is about. I know what it entails. And I can tell you when it ain't there.
It stopped about a generation ago.
It's been dwindling. It's been cruising to a slow stop. But the thing is, and this is how I get through this malaise of discontent, is that I try to relate to the server. I always listen to their name. I always call them by their name, and I never piss them off before I get the food. I never piss them off. I never send it back. No. You're on diet time when you forget it. So anyway, kind of diverged. But we used to have our thing. We had morons on the move. Oh yeah. And then we had entertainment things going. So we're kind of trying to fold back in it because some people like that. So we thought we'd just hit some light stuff here. And the new shows that are coming out. You've seen some of them? They're not any better than they used to be.
They're just remakes of the old stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part.
They should record some new laugh tracks.
You've been using the same one since 1950.
Oh my God. Anyway, there's some new shows coming. So there's a new show coming. Did you see this one? The Ex-Prince of Bel-Air.
The Ex-Prince.
Starring Harry Markle, the royal formerly known as the Duke of Sussex. I looked up what British slang for Sussex means. You know what it means?
Suck it.
Suck it. So, I haven't heard if Meghan's on there yet. I don't think they have enough money to afford her. And they're not enough space to accommodate the ego. It's just not going to happen. So, and then something came out of this. What I asked you about the Prince Harry and that other guy?
Oh, Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
Are they the same person?
Yeah. Have you ever seen them together?
Never seen them together.
I think they're the same
Just wondering.
Person. And, Harry's book's coming out real soon. And you know what the name of it is?
No. Spare.
It alludes to the fact that he's the second prince.
Right.
He's just a spare in case William doesn't make it. But here's a guy who's going to complain that the entire royal mechanism has squashed him.
Yeah.
And he's self-admitting that he thinks of himself as a spare. Obviously, he doesn't do bowling much. So, and then again in the news this week, we saw Hillary's back.
Oh, God.
She's like the dog that keeps coming to the supper table to get a piece of steak, and you keep slapping on the nose, and they back off for 15 minutes.
And it comes right
and
back
they
again.
come on right back. So, reportedly, we heard that, they found out, she was kind of tripping and had to be wobbly and had to be put in the van. I personally thought it had to do something maybe with some alcohol to ease the pain, or maybe she had a health problem. Well, it turns out she does have a health problem.
What is that?
They found that she has a 5-pound prostate. Can you imagine? Who knew? Explains some of the other stuff. Anyway, her husband, Bill, was reportedly said that he knows what her pain is like because he had his penile implant leaks. And one of them actually resulted in ruining Monica's blue dress. So he knows how embarrassing and how painful that can be. He's a lovely husband, isn't he? Yeah. I like that guy. Talk about a brave man to go to sleep next to that every night for 50 years, knowing she's a Marxist and will sacrifice anything to get what she wants.
Well, she did.
Yeah, well, she did. So we used to have these things, movie of the week thing we used to go over.
Yeah.
And people seem to like that.
Oh, yeah.
So with everything that's going on in Ukraine and Russia and all the possibilities, and even in this country with all the left-wing stuff wanting everything to be free, and they want the government to run everything, and they want to do away with the opposition. So
what's the recommendation?
Dr. Zhivago. And that's a really old movie. I think it was done by David Lean. He did several. He did the Arabia movie. What was the one?
Lawrence of Arabia?
Lawrence of Arabia's. Really great early 60s movies. But it really details people who were living in what was in Russia at that time, what could be considered maybe the middle class. He was a doctor. His family was semi-well off, had a nice flat in, I don't know, it was Petersburg or Moscow. I don't remember what city it was in. But anyway, the Bolsheviks come away and they appropriate everything for the people. Yeah. And it's their plight of running out to the Ural Mountains and hiding in the cabin they had and trying to stay. Well, the White Russians and the Red Russians were all killing each other, and you kind of had to prove who you were whenever whoever came through.
Right.
You could get whacked by anything. But it shows what happened to that society. And we all know from history what happened in Soviet Russia over the decades after that. 20, 30 million people were killed, starved, whatever. But it shows what happens. And the sad part about that movie is it doesn't end happily.
No. Oh, no.
It just shows you what after all the war and World War I and the revolution happened, it showed you what the day-to-day life was for the people that are wandering on the streets looking half dead. And but it's an excellent movie. If you watch it from the beginning to the end, you go, where did I see this? And you say, oh, Fox News. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. So that's why you need to vote. Again, this is the voter special, the election special for midterms. You have to really look at what these people represent, what they say they're going to do, and you need to take them at their word. Because the people that are saying some of this, what we consider crazy stuff, are doing it. They're not lying to you. They are doing what they say they're going to do. So you need to listen to them. And I realize that some of the people in your local election may be the friend of a cousin or a son-in-law or a brother-in-law or, whatever, of somebody you know, and you want to support them because you know them. Well, make sure you really know them before you punch that button. Yeah. Because they say this every election. This is the most important election because we're on this downhill slide and the brakes are wearing out. You are the brakes. If you don't like the road we're on, stop, turn it around. Because you got to vote. And that's what you got. That's your tool.
Need to. Yep.
So that's a little preaching on that, right? So, I don't know what else we got here for this week. We just wanted to get in and just really punch up people to go vote. I would prefer that the people who don't like what I don't like, will just stay home and not vote. But that's not the American way.
We want everyone to vote.
We want everybody to go out and exercise your vote. Yeah. Because if you look at the math of it, if everybody in the country voted, each vote on the other side means a little less. Percentage-wise. So that is, of course, taking that your side votes more than they do.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Boxfuls of absentee ballots that show up.
Yeah, don't be
3 days after the election.
Don't be mindless of who you're casting a vote for. I realize there's a lot of folks in our town who are union people, and I'm not union bashing. But don't vote for somebody just because your union steward told you have to, or the wink and the nod thing they give you. Yeah. The National Education Association, they vote as a block Democrat.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, it's not the team, it's the game.
It's the game we're worried about.
Right.
So I understand people have loyalties. But I would ask you again, are they justified? Just take a look at what they're doing and what they propose to do and understand what you're voting for. It's your right, but it's your responsibility not only to cast that vote, but to cast it for people that are the best at what they do. It's not supposed to be a popularity contest. And unfortunately,
it is.
And it's always kind of been that way, and it's kind of always going to have that component. But it's slid off the charts somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the components of voting in America, it's party affiliation and popularity.
Yeah.
All the stuff that you're standing for wouldn't kind of get shoved aside, So, So anyway, I don't know. What do you have left for us here today?
That's it. So,
well, before we've said this before, and I want to say this again, if I can wrap it up, get in there. My mouse is doing its own thing. It's become liberated. So, we like to quote the Dalai Lama every now and again, and we use the same quote because it's a basis for how we like to see the world go, is that all beings want a happy life. Okay? Let's find a way to get through this place and smile about it. We need to make it a place we can smile about.
Even when you don't get a menu.
Even when you don't get a menu. Here's the thing. That's a first world problem. I still got fed. There's people in Africa and other places, they don't give a tinker's damn about a menu. Give me the plate, give me the food. I don't care what's on it. Just
I'll have the
feed
chicken.
So we are still spoiled in the West. We are. So
true.
But like I said, all beings want a happy life. And you can contribute to that even if you're on the opposing team. And the best way you can do that is vote them out of office, and we can all be happy again. So, yeah. And the other thing, I'm going to leave this. We've avoided doing this except kidding about it every once in a while. But I was approached about this pronoun thing again. And then I read something on the internet. I won't take credit for this, but I love this. I'm going to have a T-shirt made, right? So, making a true impact on society doesn't involve pronouns or identity politics. But since I was asked, I'll do my part to contribute to the gender identity. Okay? I was born visible, right? I identify as invisible. Therefore, I'm transparent. My preferred pronouns are who and where. And with that, we'll say once more, go vote. We're out.
Peace out.